Welcome to the name game. Workout number 75 is Elfine. Every 10 minutes for 3 sets, you'll be completing one act. These acts are each a 6-minute AMRAP. So the flow of the workout will go 6 minutes on, 4 minutes off, 6 minutes on, 4 minutes off, and 6 minutes on. You can complete these acts in whatever order that you please. I'm going to start with act number 1. AMRAP for 6 minutes. 15-12-9 Calorie AirBike for males. 12-9-6 Calorie AirBike for females. In between each of those, you'll be doing 6 dumbbell squat snatches at 50 pounds for males, 35 pounds for females. Remember, this is an AMRAP, so if you finish all 3 rounds, you will start again at 12 calories for females, 15 calories for males. One more note for the air bike, you must reset that each time you get onto the bike. Act number 2 is again a 6-minute AMRAP of 36 double unders, 12 toes to bars, and 4 wall walks. Act number 3, AMRAP for 6 minutes. 5 squat clean thrusters, 165, 110 pounds, and 10 cleared box jump overs over 20 inches for both males and females. One note for the box jump over, you must jump facing the box and also land facing that same direction where your back is to the box. Your score for Elfine will be the total number of reps that you get through in all 3 of these acts combined. Let's get into standards. So the Calorie AirBike, it's just got to show it on the screen before you can actually get off the bike. And again, as I mentioned, you must reset the bike each time you get back on. The dumbbell squat snatches, both heads of the dumbbell have to touch the floor and the bottom of the rep. And then once again, you have to pass through a complete squat. So in other words, hip crease below the knee and then stand up fully in full extension before lowering down into your next rep. They do not have to be alternated evenly. You do not have to touch and go them. The double unders, reps just got to pass through your feet twice. Toes to bar, it's got to go from behind the plane of the bar in the bottom, both feet touching at the same time at the top of the rep. Wall walks, we're going to be doing the open standard. So it's going to be a 60-inch line for males, a 55-inch line for females, where your fingertips have to touch that at the start and finish of each rep. And we'll do a 10-inch line from the wall where your heel of your hand or any part of your hand has to touch that line. The squat clean thrusters, bar starts on the ground, each rep has to pass again through the bottom of a squat, so hip crease below knee with the bar in the front rack, and then you have to push press or strict press the bar overhead. You cannot jerk and dip back underneath the bar. So it has to be a thruster in the sense that you cannot rebend the knees once they've extended. Let's loop in Coach Chris. We'll talk about strategy.
So first impressions is there's just a lot going on here, right? Starting with it kind of being a choose your own adventure, choose your own order. And just to make everyone aware, we're going to be doing this one at our Zor Athlete Camp. So to have, people kind of doing it alongside the people we have at the camp is going to be pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot of strategy involved in kind of what works best for you. So I think it would be best if we kind of break down how each AMRAP will feel, and then you guys can kind of game plan based off of that what will get you guys the best score.
Yeah, so I'll take the first one here.
Okay.
So act 1, these are each 6-minute AMRAPs, so it's going to be 6 minutes on, 4 minutes off essentially. So it'll be technically a 30-minute clock, but the last 4 minutes would be rest. So yeah, this first one, 15-12-9 Calorie AirBike for males, 12-9-6 for females, and 6 dumbbell snatches. Again, this is an AMRAP, so remember that once you get through the 15-12-9 or 12-9-6, that you actually go back through. It's not for time. So obviously, there's been workouts like that in the open too, where it's a descending rep scheme, but then it's an AMRAP, so you kind of go back to the top and you have to get a bigger chunk of work done again. It's kind of cool, different feel. But obviously, it's basically playing with the chunking and frequency that you actually get to those dumbbell squat snatches with. So obviously, that's going to be the bigger one. That's it's a technical movement that requires obviously good mobility. And that's going to be the thing that challenges a lot of people. I mean, it's a standard dumbbell weight, so it's not like it's super heavy or anything like that. But yeah, we didn't say alternating. So you technically could do them all with one hand if you got a good side. Not that we necessarily condone that sort of thing, but you could. But obviously your ability to be able to just be consistent with that, whether you're going to do touch and go or like kind of drop it, reset, and do it again. You just want to make sure you're consistent in terms of like your entry point and how you execute those reps the most you possibly can across that. But other than that, it's just going to be mainly respiratory fatigue from the air bike and, just kind of general, there's going to be fatigue from like you're pulling your shoulders a little bit, but I think that's it's more of a technical component than it is like 6 dumbbell snatches isn't going to like wear you out. It's going to be more so the bike wears you out and the dumbbell snatches are taxing.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, all that is going to depend on specifically your experience doing dumbbell squat snatches and your mobility. If you're someone who's done them before and is super mobile through your hips, ankles, and thoracic, then this becomes like a pretty nasty workout, especially because, the combination of the bike and the squat snatches are really going to get after your legs.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's on the opposite end of that spectrum, then your log jam in the workout is probably going to be the dumbbell squat snatches. Not that it's a lot of reps, because it's not by any means, right? But if you've never done one before and you step in and try it, your joints feel like they're like working against each other. Like they're like each opposing joint's like, this is not the way we want to go. We want to go this way. So it's like kind of playing with that. It's going to be huge going into that workout.
Yeah. Even turning over like a dumbbell power snatch, like you basically do like a kettlebell swing. Like you don't actually like turn it over like you do a barbell snatch. Like, so it's a weird motion catching a dumbbell in the bottom of a snatch in the squat if you haven't done that before. So yeah, but for people who are going to be really proficient, that's going to be definitely a leg burner between squatting and riding the bike. Let's move on to Act 2, another 6-minute AMRAP. 36 double under, 12 toes to bar, 4 wall walks. So this is double unders are technically cyclical, but they're body weight. So we could just kind of classify these all sort of gymnastics body weight based. What's going to be taxed in this one?
So, for someone who has good shoulder endurance, then this is going to be like purely 6 minutes of cardio, right? Especially based on the rep scheme breakdown. Compared across the board, this is where you're going to be able to get the biggest chunk of reps, specifically because of the double unders. This is going to probably be, if you pace it out appropriately, it's basically 6 minutes of consistent movement. If you're someone who doesn't have great shoulder endurance, then probably the wall walks are going to be your log jam, just based on time under tension and, the fatigue that's going to come from performing them from the wall walks, then back into the double unders. And then they don't really get a break, because then you have to put them back above your head for the toes to bar. So I think the determining factor is your muscle endurance, your shoulder muscle endurance there, which is honestly most gymnastics focused workouts. That's kind of what you're looking at, either overall like respiratory systemic fatigue or shoulder endurance, right? If that's the basis of the workout. And so that's kind of how you're going to want to approach it. Is you're not going to break up the double unders, obviously, and the toes to bar sets are pretty small. But if you're someone who knows, the wall walks is going to take a lot out of you, you're probably going to want to just chunk down the toes to bar. But again, if you're someone with good shoulder endurance, then you're just like looking at this as 6 minutes of consistent movement and kind of doing everything unbroken.
Yeah, you're kind of like looking at like rubbing your hands together, like this is where I'm going to get all my reps in this workout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, the one thing that's really interesting in this, I'll note before we move on, is the toes to bar is sort of like a traditional like rep, so to speak, where it's like probably 1.5 to 2 seconds to get through one of those reps. A wall walk quote rep is like probably anywhere from 5 to 8 to maybe 10 seconds, depending on how fast you're going, and possibly longer if you're resting in between. The double unders, they're like a half a second per rep. So you're super incentivized to get through the wall walks and get back to the double unders and try to get through those before like the clock runs out, so to speak, on you. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Do you want to go over the standard in Act 3? So let me read it back one more time real quick. 5 squat clean thrusters at 165, 110. We might refer to those as just clusters, and then 5 cleared box jump overs. You want to go over that standard quick?
Yeah. So basically, if you guys have watched the CrossFit Games, there was a workout where they had to jump clear over some sort of implement. And so with the cleared box jump over, we're going to use 20 inches for men and women. You just have to face the box every single time you do the jump, and you have to jump clear over the box. So you can't land on the top. You also can't go laterally or 3/4. You have to face it every single time and jump clear over the box every single time.
and land still facing that same way. So you're going to land facing forward. You're going to jump over and land and continuing to face that same wall. You'll have to turn around and jump back over once again facing, just like they did at the games. That was that up and over event. They were jumping over the pig. So we're having everybody do the 20-inch side of the box. We also want it to be a full 24-inch, like a regular sort of standard, 20, 24, 30-inch box. So make sure it's not like a little 12-inch thing that you're jumping over. It's got to be the full 24 inches in terms of length, and then it's going to be 20 inches high, if that makes sense. And then overall on this one, obviously, again, the legs are being taxed a lot, but for a lot of people, that weight's going to feel heavy, even if this is the first one that they do. Certainly if it's the second or third and it's after the bike, that's going to be, a lot. Both on the legs and the shoulders. Again, because with the squat clean thruster, you're not rebending. You can't jerk the overhead press. You have to make it a push press where you're keeping your legs locked out.
Yeah, so this one is going to be the cycle time on this workout is definitely going to be the slowest compared to the other two, right? And so in terms of overall reps, you're not going to get nearly the same amount of reps. But then again, we talked about it, right? Strategizing where to put this workout in such a way where you're not staring at the bar because it's heavy and you've already done so many of them is going to maximize the, what you get out of that workout, how much juice you're able to squeeze out of it, right? And, if you're someone who chews up a barbell, that could be one where, you really make some ground potentially on someone who doesn't.
Yeah, we're going to leave it a little bit open, and we're not going to say, if you're this person, you should do it this way, because again, that's sort of what we're doing at camp, where it's like, this is a choose your own adventure type workout. We want it to, again, we don't want to feed you everything, right? At a certain point, as an athlete, you have to know yourself and be able to kind of, figure out what's best for you. So we'll kind of leave it at that. Any closing remarks for us?
No, man. Other than the fact that, I'm really excited to see how this one shakes out at camp. I'm interested to see how people attack this. So, have fun with this one, guys.
And lastly, we encourage as many people as possible to jump in with you and do these workouts. So you've got people who want to throw down with you, by all means, encourage them to do that. However, we want everyone to submit their scores, right? So where you're going to go to is zorfitness.com. You'll hit on menu, drop down from the protocol. You'll hit that tab called name game. And then you'll go down to the first workout, which should be the newest one. And you're going to click that little green arrow. There you'll be able to enter your name, also with the workout name. That's important because it tags it so it doesn't get lost in the forum later on. But then you obviously are going to put your score or your time, and then you'll submit it. If you click on that little number next to it, you're going to see all the other comments, right? You might actually not be able to view them all. So if you hit view all comments, that's going to take you down sort of a leaderboard where you get to compare scores. And then also your coach gets to help determine where you stack up versus other competitors to be able to determine your individual weaknesses. It's going to be super helpful for us, pretty exciting and engaging for you guys. And if you're someone who's watching this, you're not a Zor Fitness athlete yet, I'll link to it below, but you can either check out the protocol or one-on-one coaching, and we'll reach out, see if you're a good fit. And for everyone, best of luck on the workout.